All right, let's get started on 2.1, writing and graphing inequalities. So as we talked about, an inequality are or is two things that are being compared. All right, so when we compare two things, we're going to say two things aren't equal, and therefore one thing is larger than another, or they are equal. But with inequalities, all right, notice we got less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. And these are some key phrases, and I'm going to try and give you as much of them as I can. So this symbol here, okay, is less than. Okay, so it's less than. Now, there's a lot of different, so to say, parts of this, okay? So let me see if I can get them all. So okay, so we have less than. Then another one that we can say for less than is fewer than. Okay, and these are our big ones. Okay, for this symbol in the middle, this one is greater than. And we have more than. Now these two here, all right, there's going to be three different ones that we could use, okay, and two are kind of tricky out of each one. So first off, this is less than or equal to. Okay, and this one would be greater than or equal to. And here's where the confusing parts come from. So for the less than or equal to, we have, well, this one's tricky because it's talking about is at most. And the reason why I say it's tricky is because you're talking about something being less than, and then you're going to talk about is at most. And that can kind of play tricks on your brain. Okay, and then we have is no more than. Okay, and again, it's just trying to, you're talking about more, and then it's actually, the symbol is called less than or equal to. Okay, so that's why I find that confusing. And then likewise with greater than or equal to, we have is at least. And then we have is no less than. So these are just the key phrases, okay? And that's going to help us translate these verbal sentences to actual algebraic sentences. So I'm going to let you guys go ahead and copy that down. All right. Now that we have them written down, what we're going to do is we're going to go through, we're going to make them actual, actual problems from these verbal sentences. So first one, a number W, okay? The way I like to do this is the way I do it without algebraic stuff, all right? You're going to read it, and then you're going to come across something, and it's going to be talking about like the next two pieces. So here we go. It says a number W minus, well, that one's easy because you have W minus 3.5. Okay, I don't know what's going on there with that little Quidditch type of thing, a golden snitch. Okay, so we have W minus 3.5 is less than or equal to. So I look back up there and I see that less than or equal to corresponds to that symbol, -2. So that's it. Now this one says for B, 3 is less than a number n plus 5. C says 0 is greater than or equal to twice a number. So it says twice a number x plus 1. This is why I really like inequalities, because we talk about things and compare things. It says the temperature T in Sweden is at least. Well, what does at least mean? Well, if something's at least, then it must be greater than. So T is greater than or equal to -10 degrees. Why don't you guys try this last one, talking about the elevation of Alabama? All right, so the elevation of E of Alabama is at most, meaning the highest point in Alabama is 2,407 feet. So if that's the highest point, well, my elevation must be less than that. So I like to use E is less than or equal to 2,407. So an upcoming marathon's qualifying time for males is 3 hours. Will a runner with a time of 3 hours and 9 minutes qualify for the marathon? So these are actually legit questions for like Boston Marathon, things like that. It's pretty simple, pretty forward. So your time to qualify for the marathon needs to be less than, all right, for males is 3 hours. So it says an upcoming marathon qualifying time. So you qualify if you run 3 hours. So you have to be less than or equal to that. So will a runner with a time of 3 hours and 9 minutes qualify? And the answer is no. 3 hours and 9 minutes is not quicker than 3 hours. So that's why it's no. All right, so take a minute or two to go ahead and complete these verbal sentences. All right, so it says you must be at least 16 to get your driver's permit. So at least means you have to be greater than or equal to that. So notice 16 is less than or equal to A. All right, and A stands for your age. Okay, you could have also written it in the reverse, but I'm not going to go into that. You earned at most 100% on your report card, so your grade must be less than or equal to 100%. All right, and notice these things are kind of like intuitive. They make sense to you. 12 is greater than or equal to, so 12 is greater than or equal to 5 times a number n. So 12 is less than or equal to 5n. 7 is less than or equal to the difference. Difference means subtract, so I'm going to subtract the next two things, q and 6. All right, so I'm going to stop right there before getting into these solutions, okay? And we're going to take a break on this stuff and move on to that later.